a major change is on the horizon for millions of people across the UK. The government has announced sweeping changes to the free bus pass scheme that will come into effect from the 1st of October 2025. If you or someone in your family relies on a bus pass, whether it's for medical appointments, daily errands, or staying socially connected, this update could directly impact your life. So make sure you watch this video until the end and subscribe to this channel right now for accurate, no-nonsense updates on pensions, benefits, and everything you need to know about upcoming government policies. The free bus pass has long been a cornerstone of support for older and vulnerable people in the UK. For many, it's not just about transport, it's about dignity, independence, and staying connected to the world. But now, the criteria for who can get this essential benefit are being redefined, and not everyone will make the cut. The changes aren't just minor adjustments, they represent a major shift in how public transport benefits are offered across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Today, we're going to break down exactly what's changing, who will still qualify after October 2025, what the real-life impacts look like, and why the government is making these controversial decisions in the first place. The free bus pass has been a lifeline for millions. For decades, it's offered more than free travel. It has allowed pensioners to maintain their independence, visit loved ones, attend medical appointments, go shopping, and remain socially active without the burden of additional costs. It has been particularly critical for older people on fixed or limited incomes, many of whom simply cannot afford the rising costs of transport. Without it, some face impossible choices between essential expenses like heating, groceries, and transportation. According to Age UK, nearly 1 in 5 older individuals rely on their bus pass just to get to the doctor, pick up prescriptions, or maintain even basic contact with their communities. Imagine an 80-year-old woman living in a remote village in Cumbria without a free bus pass. A single round trip to her GP could cost her £15 or more. Multiply that over a month, and suddenly she's facing transport bills that seriously strain her modest pension. These stories are not isolated, they reflect a national reality. Bus passes don't just move people from A to B, they enable independence, reduce loneliness, and promote mental health and physical well-being. Towns and cities benefit economically too, with older residents spending in local shops, markets, and cafes. And now, all of that could be about to change. From the 1st of October 2025, the UK government will roll out new eligibility rules that could delay or deny bus pass access to thousands. In England, the bus pass has traditionally been available at the state pension age. But in other parts of the UK, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, rules have been more generous, with eligibility often beginning at age 60. The government now plans to harmonise these rules, which means tightening access across all regions to match England's standard. And with the state pension age itself rising towards 67 in the coming years, many who expected to qualify at 60 or 62 will now have to wait much longer, potentially up to 7 extra years. This is a massive shift. Not only does it delay access for early retirees, but it also places new burdens on people who have structured their retirement plans around having that bus pass. And it's not just older people who will be affected. Those with disabilities who previously qualified for a free pass may now face stricter medical eligibility tests. The government is reviewing disability categories and introducing more rigorous assessments, meaning some individuals may no longer qualify as easily or at all. So, to break it down simply, England will fully align bus pass eligibility with the rising state pension age. Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland are under pressure to follow suit, although devolved governments haven't formally committed to doing so yet. That means many people under 67 may no longer automatically qualify for a free bus pass, and disability qualifications are becoming harder to meet. So why is the government doing this? The main reason comes down to cost. The free bus pass scheme costs the government billions of pounds annually, and with the UK's ageing population growing rapidly, those costs are only expected to increase. Ministers argue that if changes aren't made now, the programme may become unsustainable in the long term. By raising the eligibility age and standardising rules across the UK, the government believes it can cut spending without removing the benefit entirely. But critics argue this is simply a veiled cut to essential services for the elderly. They claim that what's being sold as fairness and harmonization is actually just austerity by another name. There's also the issue of fairness between regions. It's long been a point of contention that someone living in Scotland could get a bus pass at 60, while someone just across the border in England has to wait until 66 or 67. This disparity has caused confusion, frustration, and political debate for years, and the government is now stepping in to streamline things. So who will still qualify after the October 2025 changes? Here's what we know. First, if you've already reached the state pension age and have your bus pass, your safe current holders are unlikely to lose their benefit. Second, if you're registered as disabled and meet the newly reviewed criteria, you can still qualify but expect more paperwork and checks. Third, if you live in a devolved region like Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland, you may still get your pass at 60 but only if your local government decides not to adopt England's stricter rules. And that's a big if. For example, if you live in Wales and were counting on getting your bus pass at age 61 in 2026, you may now have to wait until you're 67. That's 6 years of additional transport costs. For many people, that's thousands of pounds. Early retirees, people in rural areas, and those relying on public transport for essential trips could be hit hardest. People on tight incomes may have to cut back in other areas just to afford travel. The potential impact is enormous. There are currently over 12 million bus pass holders in the UK. According to forecasts, around 2 million people aged 60 to 65 could be directly affected by the delay in eligibility. Rural communities, where public transport is limited and car ownership less common, are likely to feel the pressure most. For older individuals living alone, the inability to travel can mean increased isolation, loneliness, and even depression. We're already hearing stories like John's, a 62-year-old in Manchester who planned to retire next year and was counting on his bus pass to keep travel costs low. With the new rules, he'll now be paying full fares for 5 more years, an unexpected cost of over £2,000. Or take Margaret, 64, from rural Wales. She uses her bus pass every week to get to the doctor and local supermarket. If Wales aligns with England, Margaret could lose her pass until she's 67, leaving her socially and medically cut off unless she pays out of pocket. These aren't just numbers, these are real lives, and the consequences are serious. The big question now is what the devolved governments will do. So far, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland have resisted aligning with England on bus pass age. Offering free travel at 60 has been a popular and politically valuable policy. But that could change. Budget pressures and the rising cost of public services may eventually force regional governments to fall in line. The longer they keep offering earlier eligibility, the more expensive it becomes. Already, campaigners and local governments are preparing for a fight. Groups like Age UK are ramping up pressure, saying the change is an attack on older people's rights. They argue that the financial savings don't justify the social cost, cutting people off from their communities and increasing the strain on health services. Petitions are gathering thousands of signatures, and several MPs are already calling for exemptions for low-income or rural pensioners. With an election approaching, this could become a major political issue, especially in areas with high numbers of older voters. The wider social and economic effects of these changes can't be ignored. When older people lose mobility, it doesn't just affect them, it affects entire communities. Fewer pensioners shopping locally means less income for small businesses. Missed medical appointments can lead to deteriorating health and higher NHS costs. Less participation in community life means increased loneliness and mental health problems. And bus companies themselves may suffer financially as fewer people use services, potentially leading to route cuts that hurt everyone, not just pensioners. So what can you do if you're affected? First, check your eligibility carefully, especially if you live in Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. Your local rules may still differ from England. Second, if you're nearing retirement, start budgeting for potential transport costs in case your pass is delayed. Third, get involved, contact your MP, sign petitions, and support campaigns fighting to protect the benefit. And finally, look into alternative travel discounts. Some bus operators offer reduced fares for older passengers even without the official free pass. You may be able to access savings through railcards, local authority schemes, or age-based community services. Most importantly, stay informed, because this story is far from over. To sum it up, the changes coming in October 2025 will reshape a benefit that millions rely on every single day. While current holders are likely safe, many future retirees will face years of added costs. The government argues this is about fairness and sustainability, but for those affected, it feels like a step backward. Whether these rules stick or get challenged depends on how strongly the public pushes back. And that's why your awareness and your voice matters. Share this video to let others know what's coming. Join the conversation in the comments below and tell us, do you think these changes are fair? Or are they an unfair cut to pensioners' rights? And before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an important update about pensions, DWP policies, benefits, and your rights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.